Welcome back to Off Guard. It's your host, Austin Rivers, along with my guy, as always, Pausha Haghighi. We're back. We're live. I am reporting from Cleveland. Got a game tonight versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Will be a good Eastern Conference competitive match, hopefully. But yeah, definitely a big-time game, some big-time players, man. How are we doing? You're down in Orlando, of course.
Down in Orlando, of course. I want to know, let's get it out of the way. What bench are you sitting on for this game?
Oh, they definitely got me on that Milwaukee bench. I think just for obvious reasons, the relationship with the coach being my father. It'll be a fun game. Definitely different than my other ones for that reason. Just interviewing him before the game is going to be awkward and weird. Fun at the same time, though. So I'm looking forward to it. I got some fun questions for him. And, then we get to the game, which is the good stuff. Just getting to sit there and call a good game. Two high-profile teams. It's fun when you call good basketball. Although I will say, last week I had a Detroit-Washington game, and I was complaining about it on the way there. I was like, man, I wish this would be a more competitive game, and it turned out to be one of the games of the year. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Good record, bad record. There are pros out there. It's pro coaches, pro training staffs, pro players. Everything is at the highest level. It is the NBA. You just take each game for a life of its own. So tonight, I'm hoping we get a competitive match.
I just think it's so awesome that you're going to be on the Bucks. But listen, the game is must-see TV, right? Giannis is the best player in the Eastern Conference. The Cavs, even though Detroit has the best record in the East, everyone has kind of the Cavs as being the favorite in the East.
Yeah,
that's going to be an amazing matchup. But that's just really cool that you're going to be interviewing your dad on the bench. I think that's a really cool moment. Obviously, NBC has to capitalize on that. It's a no-brainer.
I think they were like, yeah, we gotta. So I don't know what else they have me doing, tonight. I just take it, for as, I come and whatever they tell me to do, I do what I got to do. So I'm looking forward to it, though, man. It's nice working with familiar faces. So getting to actually work with my pops, getting to but interview these guys, obviously, and cover the game is my favorite part. Just getting to do the play-by-play stuff. I've had more fun than I thought I was going to have. I knew I would enjoy it because I had a little, glimpse of it last year doing some college games when I auditioned for this role. But it's been even better than I thought. It's been fantastic.
Can you tell me a little bit? I've never been to Cleveland. Can you tell me something that the average person or myself wouldn't know about Cleveland?
No. It's exactly what you think it is. Cleveland is exactly what you have in your mind is what it is. There's not much to do here. I would imagine if you're from here, there's probably, a lot more to do, or about certain spots. It's like when people talk about Orlando and I get offensive because I'm just like, bro, Orlando's a great place, blah, 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 blah. But, people on the outside only think it's Disney. It's not, Scottsdale maybe or, Atlanta or Houston or Dallas, some of these bigger cities, Los Angeles, Miami, New York. But, Orlando has its pockets. I'm assuming Cleveland has its own because what meets the eye of a passing through stranger, it's a tough place, man.
I got you. You can leave it at that. We don't want to cause any beef with the Cleveland. You might get more of their games, right?
I know. I don't got no problem with anybody from Cleveland. You asked me how it was. I gave you the truth. I mean, I don't really know what to do here except just kind of just go to sleep and, wait to
go to sleep is insane. Naptown is Indiana, I think, is Indianapolis. Which, by the way, they are, I think as of right now, they have the worst record in the NBA, which is, you went to the finals, game 7, right? You had a crazy year. They might end up getting the number 1 pick and in a great draft out of all this, and then a healthy Tyrese Halliburton. Could you imagine if Darren Peterson or Cam Boozer or somebody gets to go to the Pacers? It's kind of like when Tim Duncan got to go to the Spurs because David Robinson was out all year. You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, you take the year off. You had a great year. But next year they could add a really good piece.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's looking like right now. When you look at the landscape of, the league, where they're at, some of their guys aren't coming back for a while. Nembhard just got back. So some of these other guys, I'm sure their record will improve. But their best player is not playing, obviously, and that's Halliburton. So, it's they got a long season ahead of them. But, yeah, it'd be crazy if they get one of those players, man. If they get like a top-ranked prospect out of college due to just having a weird year, yeah, that'd be crazy.
Just as crazy as the Clippers, I don't expect them to be as bad as they are right now the rest of the year. I mean, who knows? But OKC has their pick. the NBA does not need OKC getting a top 5 pick in this draft, right? Like it's just like the not.
Yeah, I would assume the Clippers will play better basketball. I mean, their roster is a lot better than what their record says. So, you know, saw James had a 40-point triple double the other night. Um, with a win. So, I'm hoping games like that, performances like that can maybe spark something for them. Because, like you said, OKC getting another top player, a guy that they probably are going to have to figure out ways to play. They already have a lot of prospects on their team right now who they struggle finding minutes for. So, that's crazy to even think about when we talk about OKC getting a top prospect like their team and roster isn't already full of them. I mean, Sam Presti has literally just got the league in a chokehold right now. And
Right.
he's got picks after that too. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon. This is one of those dynasties that we can actually bet on for the future. When the Celtics won, we're like, how long are they going to win? They're going to win multiple championships. This is actually realistic. And if you're a fan who wants continued variety of different champions, cause for concern.
I have a question. If you're one of these guys, right, you're a top 5 pick, and you think that OKC might draft you, would you tell them no, like the way Ace Bailey kind of did it last year, where you would be like, I don't want to go there because everyone wants to get to that second contract, and if you're gonna have to find minutes between Jalen Williams and Chet and Shea and all these guys, you want to get to that second contract and get the most money possible. So would you want to? Would you try to play that card?
It depends who you are and what they need. I mean, if OKC had a top pick, I would draft Cameron Boozer. They have they have elite point guards. They have elite shooting guards and small forwards and wings. They have a plethora of those. Their issue has always been having size next to Chet because Chet does a lot of things great on the floor, but he doesn't have that size and weight. That's why they went and paid, Isaiah Hartenstein. But if you can get Boozer, then you now have a thoroughbred who has more size, more upside, and has a longer, brighter future. If anything, you might be able to even get off that Isaiah contract and be able to pay some of these other wings, the guys like Casey Wallace, Wiggins, these dudes that you kind of are concerned about losing. That would open up a lot of different options and possibilities for them. So, yeah, that would be crazy. And
Yeah.
Cameron Boozer would fit like a glove. He would start right away and be on playoff championship contending team. So it just depends on situation. Now, if AJ DeBancha got drafted, he'd be like, "Yo, what am I doing here?" You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but yeah, it's all about situation.
Cameron Boozer and Chet together, you just I don't even want to have to think about that happening.
Yeah,
Like that's
Cameron, Chet, and then they'd have Jalen Williams, Shea Alexander with whatever. That
whoever else
fifth
that
piece could be you. It makes no difference. I mean, but again, then you add that it probably would be a Caruso or a Casey Wallace or Wiggins or one of these guys, and you're just like Dort, would probably be the guy.
Yeah.
You'd be like, man, this is a hell of a roster.
Right.
Unbelievable.
I feel like last week or since the last pod, a guy that was all over the headlines, whether it was his sneaker or the way he was playing, was Steph Curry. A player that we've covered on this pod a million times, right? And you've had your battles with him with the Rockets when you're on the Clippers. Kind of, this guy's always the dynasty was always a little bit in your way. How do you feel about? I want to ask you. Obviously, he had those back-to-back 40-point games against the Spurs.
Hmm.
Why do you think he's been so? How come he's aging so well? I mean, LeBron's aged amazing, right? Kevin Durant has been playing really well, but Steph isn't 6'10" like these other guys, right? Like, how is he? And he's not the strongest, right? Not
Yeah.
the most athletic, obviously athletic, but not the way you would think. How come he's able to age so gracefully when other smaller guards can't?
Well, I think his whole career has been safe when you talk about the way he plays. His game is heavily predicated off his jump shot. So, for one, your jump shot's the last thing that leaves you. Steph Curry is going to be 20 years retired. You know what I mean? He's going to be 60 years old and still be able to go out there, not in an NBA game, but he could go in his backyard and just knock him down. That jump shot is not going to leave you. You just need like 5-10 minutes just to get the rust off, and before you know it, it's like muscle memory. Especially for someone who's been over, I say 10,000 hours. That doesn't do it justice. He's probably 50,000 hours of time that he's put into perfecting his craft, becoming the best jump shooting basketball player of all time, right? So his game is predicated and based off a skill that never leaves you. So that's one. He could play forever. And then you ask, well, how's he able to still move? He doesn't take a lot of bumps. He doesn't go in there and try to dunk and do 360 layups. He's not Derrick Rose. He's not Westbrook. He's not some of these guys. His game isn't predicated off athletic ability. So with that comes a lot of that bulk, that those scarring of injuries, and like those things that can kind of derail a player as they get older. When you see their body not work as well, you see these athletic freaks have these crazy careers, and then right at the end, it just ends quickly. It just goes from like this to, you see it all the time. I can say names, but I don't want anybody to feel disrespected. Steph's game has zero or a little to do with athletic ability. It's all skill. And skill stays with you forever for the most part. So as long as he's able to stay agile enough to run around and still come off screen sharp, defend decently, these things aren't going to leave him. And he'll be able to play at a high level like this for 3, 4, maybe even 5 more years. So I think that's the biggest, when we talk about, longevity, LeBron is a one-off. He's an anomaly. You know what I mean? Kevin is 6'10" with a jump shot, and he's highly skilled. That's how he's able to play at a high level. He does not move the same. Kevin does not move with the same explosion as he did in OKC. He does not. He does not drive to the basket with the same
He also
explosion.
tore his Achilles though, which we've
Yeah,
never seen
so
anyone come back as good as him.
no, 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 you haven't. But again, a lot of that has to do with his game style. Those two players specifically, Steph Curry and Kevin, their entire game is based off of skill. And then you add to Kevin's that he has the size and height that he has, it makes him unguardable. So he could play forever, it feels like. I truly believe Kevin could play till he's 45 years old and be a top level scorer in the NBA. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how skilled he is. He's long, he's agile, and his body's light. He doesn't have a lot of weight on those knees and those ankles, which is why, hence the point you just alluded to. He was able to come back from a torn Achilles, act like nothing ever happened. Because his game, he didn't need to go to the basket and do a windmill or dunk on someone, or it's not a part of his game. Now it helps his game having athletic ability, and don't get it twisted. Steph Curry and Kevin Durant still have a lot of athletic ability with them. They're NBA superstars, but LeBron is an anomaly, and I don't like even to compare someone like him. Even Westbrook, for that matter. Obviously, he hasn't aged his game like somebody like LeBron has, but no one has. But even Westbrook is in the back half of his year, still putting up triple doubles, starting for the Kings. Still has explosive athletic plays that you see him make. And this guy's in his upper 30s, and you see him make these plays, and you're like, bro, that's crazy. You know what I mean? So that's them. There's only a few of them, though. Guys like Steph, guys who their game is based off of skill, low management in terms of falls and breaks. He's not Derrick Rose going into the paint like a batting range. That's what people have concerns over John Morant and some of these other guys who are so freak athletes, because people talk about what their game's going to look like 10 years from now. So, yeah, I don't know how long Steph and Kevin Durant can play for. I think a lot of it has to matter of – I think I'll say this to close this up. I don't think Steph and Kevin are going to retire when they can't play anymore, because I believe they'll be able to play honestly and have an impact on the game until like their mid 40s, even upper 40s possibly. Yes, I really believe that.
Like
I
if
think
KD was, let's say KD's the worst he could be would still be kind of like a Duncan Robinson. He could still be
Yeah,
like
like
catch and shoot
Kevin. Yeah, that's what I'm
guy.
saying. Like Kevin still would be better than most of the people in the league.
Yeah.
So they're not going to retire when they can't play anymore. Those two are so highly skilled; they'll be able to play forever. I think those two are going to retire when that passion and fire is not there. There to push them every day. It's easy to want to play opening night. Do you want to be 40 games in and not feel well and have the flu, or it's that time of year where sicknesses are going around and you're bumped and you're bruised and you're sore, and your kids are getting older and he has a big game that weekend and you can't be there because you got to play in Detroit, or you got to go to Cleveland, or you got to go somewhere in the East Coast, wherever that case may be, somewhere cold, and that's the difference, because it's not about money for them, because these are guys who are going to be billionaires. So we're asking, what is it? Why do you want to play? Right now, it's still the fire to be great. Well, what happens when you're 45, 46 years old? At some point, that father time will call them. I believe it'll be due to what's inside, not physically what they're able to do, because their game is just more predicated upon skill. And they're two of the most skilled players you've ever had in this game.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about what you just said about Westbrook, who he does get left out of the conversation as far as longevity, is Westbrook's biggest skill right now, to me, and I think to most people, is his motor. Imagine saying like a year 18 or 19 guy, his best skill is his motor. He's outworking everybody else at that age. That's insane.
No, that's
Another thing
actually
is, yeah.
that's a good, like, how I make those videos where I do the walk and talks. I haven't done one in quite some time. So people are probably like, what is he talking about? But on my Twitter, I usually make videos like that. And that's a good one right there to really touch light on him, because It is crazy to think in year 18, his biggest asset is his motor. It's just unheard of. Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
I wanted to talk about. You said the jump shot might be the last thing that leaves you. What is the first couple of things that leave you? Like, is it like the feel, the handle? Like, what
No,
leaves you?
the explosion upwards, just jumping,
Okay.
just being able to jump and explode towards the rim and dunk is the first thing that leaves you.
Yeah.
Like I go to the basket now and I explode. It's just for the way I used to spring off the floor. I'm convinced, and I could be delusional. I'm convinced that I could get it back. I'm 33. I don't think I'll be able to jump like I was when I was 24, 22, but I do think I could get a lot of my hops back. I'd have to work for it, which is something I'm not willing to do because there's zero reason for me to have a higher vertical in my life right now. It does
NBC needs
absolutely,
Austin Rivers. It's an NBC players versus faculty pickup
yeah,
game, and we
it
need
does
you
absolutely
to
nothing for my life or my livelihood to have a higher vertical. So that is just seemingly, it's just gone. And then you just feel it with like, I think this might not be a trait or skill trait. I think your hops leave you, but I think your ability to be able to just be sore and wake up and just play leaves you.
Okay.
It's more so that stuff. It's not like I lost my ability to have good vision or my quickness. Like yes, your quickness kind of like all of us humans. As we get older, you lose a little bit of your quickness. A little, overall, you just lose a step. Okay, let's just sum it up to that. But I think it's the ability to play on a back to back as if like you're 18, bro. When you're 18, bro, 19, bro, you just jump around and run around. Like you ever go to a gym and watch these kids after playing pickup, they're all throwing the ball up trying to dunk, and you're like, look at this energy. Like it's the energy. It's
Yeah.
like that type of energy you can't manifest. You know what I mean? It's like it leaves you. That's why, as much as we make it about how LeBron James, it's an anomaly of what he's doing physically, it's his energy that I'm most impressed with. Like how he has this energy to do this and go out here and play at that type of level. Same with Russell Westbrook. Again, he's a guy who's always like left out of this conversation. The fact that his biggest trait right now in his upper 30s and his 18th year in the NBA is his motor is nuts.
Right.
Like I don't know what type of salts he's sniffing before the game, but it's something of a rare extract because it gets him in a mode that he's able to play with that type of level of energy. It's just that's like one of the things that leaves you. It really is.
Do you have a like? It would be your one piece of advice for a player that's early 20s that wants to play for 20 years? Like, what would you say you need to work on, or like, was like stretching, the usual stuff, diet?
Get a jump shot. Get a jump shot. In today's NBA, if you could shoot, you could play forever. Al Horford is still out there. You want to know why? He's a stretch big who can defend and still move his feet. If you can focus on your lateral movement and be able to slide your feet, because that's the first thing they question when you get old. You can't guard nobody. Can you guard? Can you guard the pick and roll? Can you guard the high pick and roll? Or do you have to be one of those guys that they put you in a drop? If that's the case. Certain teams, certain games, you're not even going to be able to play.
Yeah.
Like when you watch the Spurs play, sometimes they can't even play Cornette, just like the Celtics couldn't. There's like certain games you couldn't play him because he's in a drop. Because if he was up at the screen, guys would go right around him.
Right.
You can live with that with Nikola when he has 35, 15, and 12. He's, again, I don't like to compare and justify people off the anomalies. So the
Of
rest
course.
of us, you have to, if you could slide your feet and hit a jump shot, you could play forever.
Yeah, Nicola, by the way, you mentioned him. I think his PR is at 40 right now. He's looking to break records. Is he going to win MVP again? Are people going to vote for him because they didn't vote for him last year? Or are they like, okay, we owe him this one? Or
Listen, if it wasn't a popularity contest, and if this was an award that was based off of just pure performance, he would be like a 6-time MVP.
right.
He's been the best player in the NBA the past 5, 6 years. So, I don't know if that's voters fatigue or people just want somebody maybe from America or something that's a little bit more exciting for the brand of basketball to win. He will be in the conversation again. We know this. His team is going to be up there in wins. So there's no excuse really this time. Shea's already got one. To Shea's defense, his team is looking unstoppable as well. So it's just a matter of who they want to give it to. I think it's going to be the same two guys. And I think if you want to throw a third in there, I think Giannis will be that third guy. Right now he's, I think, number 2 in points behind Luka Doncic. And he's like top 2 or 3 in rebounds. And he's averaging a career high 7 assists. And I mean, like, bro, Giannis' stats are just ridiculous. People have gotten so used to his freakish ways and how he's able to play on the court that people just like, how it is. You just get amnesia. You just get bored. You just get tired. You get used to greatness. Greatness makes people used to, makes people comfortable. They make it look so easy. So I mean, he's second in scoring behind Luka. It's remarkable. And Luka's missed a lot of games, so he hasn't had games to kind of taper off that scoring. This guy Giannis is playing every night, still right there. It's
Right.
it's 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 insane. So he's finished second in scoring the past 3 years in a row. People don't really realize that. Um, he's having a remarkable year, and if the Bucks are able to continue to be in that playoff hunt, I think he's that third name. But again, it's just the same three guys, man. I don't see anybody else coming into that fold. I think if you want to throw a fourth guy in there, you could throw Luca or Cade, depending on where their team's records end up being at that time. But those would probably be the five right there. Would be Cade, Luca, Giannis, and then at the top, Shea and Nikola.
You know, you're naming all these really good players, and it's reminding me of this kind of the game that you and me always play when we're hanging out. And it's like, what five would you put together to play the aliens right now? Or you know what I mean? If they all, if what five of right now current players don't do all time with the Jordan and all that
Yes,
stuff.
too much.
Right now, who would you put
To play
together
the
for your five?
Monstars.
Yeah, the Monstars
Um, so my center would be Wimby.
over Jokic.
No, well, I was putting both of them in there, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter
okay,
what
my
the
bad.
position.
I'll
Yeah,
let you cook. I'm sorry.
yeah, it isn't. I could care less who plays four or five. I want Nikola to be the primary defender with Wemby being the help with his length and size. I'm putting Nikola and Wemby on the same team. The could you imagine the passing between the two, between Nikola just setting him up for lobs with Wemby's length? So I'd have Wemby, Nikola, and then I would go right into just shooting the rest of the way. My point guard would be Cade. My shooting guard would be I want someone who can defend too.
Would that be SGA?
Yeah, my shooting guard would. I don't like that. They don't have a lot of shooting.
You're right.
So I don't want Cade and Shea on the same team. They both need the ball. You got to pick one. I'm going Cade. I think Shea's a better player overall, but I don't know. I'm a big Cade guy right now. Um, but I guess for these purposes, yeah, and I think Cade's a better passer than Shea. So listen, if we had a worse team, then you'd have Shea because he has the ball in his hands all the time. Shea ain't gonna have the ball in his hands half the game anyways. I'm throwing it down to Nikola. I don't need him to do all that. So I like Cade up there at the point. I'd go at the two. I'd probably go Ant, and at the three, I'd probably go KD. I'm still,
KD.
I'd still put him in there. Yeah, name a three better than KD right now.
No. Listen, I'm surprised you went Cade over, I guess, Luca right now. But you have been riding this Cade. You've been.
I want all five of my guys to be able to slide their feet and switch. We could switch 1 through 5, or
There
we could
you
play
go.
any defense. Now, obviously, Nicola's not that guy, but Nicola's the greatest player on the planet. I put him on the team. So you have Nicola, and a lot of Nicola's defensive problems will get hidden or get kind of soaked up with Wimby next to him. So you have
Absolutely.
Nicola with Wimby, and then you have Kevin. Those three, look at the size. Kevin Durant, Wimby, Nicola as our three, and then our athleticism with guards who all could shoot, by the way. Ant led the league in three-pointers made last year. You have Ant at the two, who could also play. He's an extraordinary defender. With Cade, another grid defender. So all my guys can defend. All of them can shoot and make a three, including Nikola. Nikola can make a three. Wemby can make a three. KD can make a three. Ant is a great three-point shooter, and so is Cade's an improved three-point shooter. All of them can shoot. All of them can defend. All of them can pass. The only one who's not the greatest passer would be Ant, but that's fine. He does other things. So that would be my five right there.
Can I interest you in a Giannis instead of Wemby? Imagine Giannis and Jokic at
I
the.
don't,
I
I
know he
don't, I
doesn't
don't,
shoot, but
I
imagine
like
when
Wemby.
Giannis is like the role player of it, like the way he plays.
Yeah, but I think Giannis's game is so heavily predicated on him having the ball in his hands. There's a reason why I think about it, guys. I don't have Wemby. I'm sorry. I don't have Giannis, Luca, or Shea on this team. Now, if you asked me to start a team with one guy, then those would be the guys at the forefront, along with Nikola. All right. I wouldn't have Kevin Durant on my list to start a team right now. I wouldn't. I love Cade and I love Ant, but I would have Luca or Shea over these guys. These guys are the top dogs, are Shea and Luca. If I got a team with the other four greatest players on the planet, it can't. It's like USA team. You can't have them all on. It's not going to work. There's a reason why like Derek White was on that team. You know what I'm saying? You didn't grab Jalen Brown because it didn't make sense. That's what's like. I like Giannis, but Giannis is great with the ball in transition. I don't want Giannis spotting in the three because the defender's just gonna help. So it's like you can't help off Wimby. He'll knock it down. That's why you got Wimby, Nikola, uh, KD. and Cade, I love that team.
Yeah,
I
and
love that
when we
team.
used to always play this game, a guy I would always pick in my five was like prime Clay Thompson because all he could defend and he could shoot. Because like you said, not everyone's gonna have the ball. You don't need Kobe and Michael and
No,
this
I
and that.
don't.
Like
Yeah,
it's a
exactly. So people
right.
always end up getting caught up. Well, how dare you leave? I wouldn't put Kobe and Michael and this guy on the same and LeBron on the same team. It's like, what the hell is that going to do? That's not what they're all just going to get in each other's way. It doesn't mix. It's like when our USA team put like Tracy and Iverson and all these guys on one team, and we lost to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Because you have guys who just don't like mix and gel, or they kind of do the same things. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? So again, because Shea is better than Cade. Cade's great, but Shea's the best guard in the NBA right now, or Luca. But for what I have, 2 through 5, I don't need Shea or Luca on this team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the only person you could maybe leave out is you could exchange Cade for Shea. Shea's been proven to be able to he's able to score. You know, he has multiple guys eating on his team. He's proven he could be a winner. That's justified, and he is the best guard in the NBA. I just went Cade because I just think Cade's the best passing guard right now in the NBA. He's leading the league in assists. I just love his game. I love his game.
I mean, he's the star of the number one team in the East, and it just got announced that he's having his own signature shoe with Nike, which is
Smart,
obviously always a really like everyone's dream
smart.
growing up and like a huge deal, especially with obviously like the big dogs like Nike. His
Surprised
logo
that
looks sick.
surprised Wemby didn't get that before Cade.
Well, they just announced Cade. I don't know if Wemby's has already kind of been in the works, but they didn't announce it. I love both their logos though.
Yeah,
Wemby's
they both
logos.
have, they both have fantastic logos. I would assume that Wemby's right behind. That's like the future of basketball because I don't know how long Ja's going to have a sneaker for. The problem is Ja's sneaker's the number one selling Nike sneaker right now,
I think
despite like
they're really
the
they look. Josh's shoe might be the best looking shoe out right now, probably. I
right
mean, you
now it
see him
is.
all
Yeah,
the
his
time at the
newest his
gym.
newest one is yes.
Yeah.
His newest one is, and apparently they're great hooping shoes. So you know that's something to think of. His basketball wise, people aren't talking about Ja. You know what I mean? Like he's not having a fantastic season. He hasn't had a really like a
They're
great
just
season
talking about
since.
trading him. Is the only time they're talking about it right now.
Yeah, so it's like basketball wise, he's not really doing it for you. But his sneaker with Nike's just going through the roof. So you never know with that stuff. But I would imagine Wimby's right behind Cade. That's like their secured future.
But have we talked about this on the pod before, where big men don't sell shoes, and we always say like non-Americans don't. So Wemby is both of those, right? So you think he would
Yeah,
be able to
he is
move a
an
lot of
alien.
shoes?
Yeah, I think Wimby can be the difference maker, or he could be the exception when we talk about foreign players not really being able to sell sneakers, big men not really being able to sell sneakers. But flashy, I don't want to say flashy, but exciting, prolific power forwards have had some success. When you think about, Cameron Garnett had a successful sneaker launch with Nike and had some good sneakers. Tim Duncan had some good sneakers. So it's been there before. And then you add that we've never seen a player like him and just the overall media coverage of him and how exciting he is. I mean, think about how we were after that opening night, the plays he made. Someone like him could sell a sneaker. He's also very polished. He's going to stay clean, stay out of trouble. He's a safe bet for a brand to put a lot of money into. Um, and then, like you said, you made a great point, Pasha. He has a fantastic logo. The alien logo is just so sick and so fitting. So, I think he'd be next in line to probably have a sneaker line. I'll be interested to see where Steph Curry goes. Yeah, I don't think he's going to go to a major brand, just due to, quite frankly, how much money he has. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need a $300 million contract from Adidas. He's not going to Nike. I don't think he'd ever go to a brand that LeBron wears, and has no slight to LeBron. I just think that's always been a guy that he's competed against and won against. He's not going to the Nike brand that's so heavily coveted LeBron and KD. You know what I'm saying? Like that, they've been
Right.
the two shoulders that Nike's kind of. I mean, yeah, they've kind of rode on this entire time. I don't think Steph's even touching that. I don't think Adidas is in the frame of it, nor is it fitting, just due to where he's at in his career. I don't think Adidas wants to pour money into that. Um, so from a brand standpoint and then from a personal player standpoint, he's at a point now where he can have his own brand, and he does. He has guys like De'Aaron Fox and some other players who wear his sneaker. That's where I see it going. I think he's going to try to, obviously there's a legal thing there that has to happen. to where he has to get the rights to his own brands and stuff like that from Under Armour. I would assume an Under Armour would do right by him, but that's where I see him going. Him having his own brand.
Right,
Um,
but people need to understand it's going to take a while, right? Because they're still making the Under Armour Steph Currys. It takes like a year for people they're still in production. They're still going to have to sell them, so
yeah,
you don't just get to move on right away. They're going to be selling them. He
but
still wore
it's
them the other
it's
night.
it's weird seeing him warm up in Kobe's, and even though,
Can I
like you
ask you
said,
something? Can I ask you something? He played in the Under Armour Steph Currys. He warmed up in the Kobe's. If that was LeBron doing something like that, you guys would say he was an attention whore for warming up in those shoes. He didn't even play in them. But he definitely did that. Like he warmed up in Nikes and ended up still playing the Under Armours. He did it. He's obviously sending a message, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And to your point, you're right. I'm serious. That's fair.
Because
I mean,
LeBron wears the Knicks towel. Remember that one time? It was like criticized. Like guy wants so much attention. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Not every. Maybe he
it's a
just wanted to
fair
wear some
point.
Kobe's.
It's a fair point. If LeBron wore Adidas shoes, whatever, I don't care. We as the people would attack him and say, "Man, this guy just can't get enough of the attention. Here he goes again." Because that's what we do with LeBron. It seems like time after time again. I do believe LeBron does do things for attention, and I do believe LeBron just does things because he's a human being, just like the rest of us. But he's one of the most popular people on the planet, so we just pick everything he does apart. I think he's a product of his own success and his own greatness. I really do believe that. So I think sometimes he does it to himself. I think sometimes LeBron doesn't do it to himself. Steph absolutely wore those Nike sneakers. He said he always wanted to, know what it's like wearing Kobe's. Steph, you know what it's like wearing Kobe's. You wore some Kobe's growing up. Cut it out. All right. You wore those sneakers because whatever's going on between you and Under Armour, I don't know what that is. Maybe the sales, the product brand. Apparently, the sales and some stuff has gone down over the years, and I don't really know the ins and outs of that, so I'm not going to speak on it. Whatever it is, it's not fruitful enough for Under Armour to continue to try to keep this marriage going, and there has to be some intent behind him knowingly wearing Nikes for the first time. And how long has he been in the league?
It's been a long time, man.
But he was with Nike coming out. He was
Right,
with
and he had a lot
Nike
of the
starting out.
ankle situation. Remember, they had a lot of ankle injuries. That's why he signed that. I think it was like a 4-year, $36 million deal. I think when he won his first championship, he was like not super paid. Remember that?
Yeah, he wasn't. He was
obviously
like under.
made that
He was underpaid.
Yeah.
He's one of the most
Oh,
underpaid players in the history of the game at that time.
for sure.
So he was a Nike player once upon a time, and I do think he knew that would get attention. But listen, everybody, it was already announced prior to that, so that'd be different. If he did it without anybody knowing any of the ins and outs of what's going on Under Armour, people would be freaking out. Like, what is he doing? It was already announced prior to that game that they were ending their relationship. So at that point, I think it just gives him maybe the freedom to be like, man, I can do whatever I want. I'll hoop in the game, in my shoes because they're my shoes, but I'll warm up in all different types of stuff now. I think part of a hooper, like you want to wear Kobe's. I remember like when Kobe was a free agent, like we wore Jordans. He wore shoes sometimes that didn't even make sense. I saw him play in the crazy, or he played in the Jordan 8s. The Jordan 8s are heavy as they got like straps on them and all type of shit on them. Like they're not even like great basketball playing shoes, but like he played in them. So it's just like that's what you can do. I think it brings the kid out and kids again. And players again. Like because he's a sneaker free agent, he gets to be like the rest of us and be like, you know what, I'm gonna wear whatever I want. The crazy
You
thing is somehow Steph has more freedom than me. I can't even wear anything but Adidas. I'm still locked in. I'm still tied in with Adidas. If I was caught wearing Nikes, they'd be like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
right.
I just don't think the attention is the same on what I'm wearing versus what Steph Curry's wearing. So yeah,
That's too good. You wore Under Armour in high school, though, right?
matter of fact, to talk about that, I was one of their original like first athletes. Their first basketball player was Brennan Jennings, and he had his first shoe called the Black Ice, which is actually really hard, named after their air freshener. Design looked good. Sneakers actually pretty damn solid for its first basketball sneaker. Prior to that, they were notoriously and only a football company. They've obviously now advanced. They're in all different every field now, but that was their first basketball sneaker, and their first athlete was Brennan Jennings. And then they had a college team wear their stuff, which was Maryland. a la Gravis Vasquez was a premier player in college at the time who was wearing it. So it was like Brandon Jennings at the NBA level. It was Gravis Vasquez at the college level. And I was the guy in high school, bro. I had my own sneaker colorways. I had my own PE. I had my initials on my sneakers. I had custom wristbands and armbands. I mean, bro, they really took care of me. Under Armour did its thing. Shout out to Stoney. I'm sure he might see this somewhere. He's still at Under Armour now. He was the guy that really took care of us and blessed me to the point where I thought I was going to be Under Armour when I went to the NBA. But I think relationships kind of changed when I went to a Nike school. I went to Duke, and things just changed from there.
I remember Brandon Jennings with all those videos, the Under Armour videos during the lockout and everything like that. He was like him, Kemba Walker, I think. They ended up getting two, right? Yeah.
And by the way, when I was at Duke, I knew I wasn't going to be Nike because the Nike rep they would send was Nico Harrison. Full circle moment here. That's the truth. I swear.
Yeah.
And it's not that I've never had a problem with Nico. Still don't have a problem with Nico. He's never done any wrong by me. Nothing. Never. But the relationship just wasn't there. Because those guys start early.
Yeah.
So he had a relationship with AD. He had a relationship with World Wide West, who helped mend some of these deals. These are things I wasn't in that camp. I was an Under Armour kid, and then I went to a Nike school, and it didn't even feel right. Like Nike was like, "Wait, what is Austin doing?" I was a top player in that class, mind you. So they had interest, but just didn't ever feel right. And then when I went to the pros, Adidas kind of just came in, and the rest is history. And I made the right decision. I made the right decision. I can imagine. I love Curry's, and I love Steph, and I love Seth, and they're part of my family. I ain't playing and walking around no goddamn Under Armour gear, bro. I ain't wearing Steph Curry's to the gym to hoop. You got me up. I'm not wearing that.
Who do you think has the best line out right now?
Are we talking about
what player has the best?
We're saying best sneaker right now.
What player has the best, let's say, line? I think you said Jaw's the best Nike, but what line do you like?
Well, Jaw has the best Nike sneaker right now, tied with Book. People don't like Book's sneaker. I love it, and I think he's had the best collabs out of anybody. The only problem you can honestly have with Devin Booker's sneaker is it's gone too long. We need a second shoe here, man. He's been wearing this shoe now for
a couple
7
seasons.
years. He's got like 3,000 colorways, and he has 1,500 collabs. He has a collab with Chevy. He has a collab with his alma mater, college. He has a collab. I just saw he did a Converse collab.
Yeah, he did a Chuck Taylor. Yeah.
Every week they come up with a new idea. I'm just like, where are the ideas for a new sneaker? So that's the only issue I have with the books is it's time to get off the book one. But I loved the look of the sneaker. I love how plain and simple. I love the aesthetic of it. I thought he crushed that shit. So, and I heard people love playing in them. So I'll go Book and Ja for the best current Nike sneaker right now to hoop in. For Adidas, Ant had the best sneaker of the year. People loved Ant sneaker. It won sneaker of the year. Adidas really dominated last year. Now, if we're talking catalog, and I'm not going any other brand outside of that because there's no point. If we're talking catalog, like who has the best resume of sneakers, with the exception of your airness, obviously. It's like what's crazy? His sneaker line is just so we can't even we can't even include him. His sneakers look so good. People don't even hoop in them anymore. It's the fact now if you hoop in them, you get made fun of. This dude's hooping in 11s. What's wrong with him? That's what MJ was getting jiggy in. But now, you wear them with fits and stuff. I mean, I don't wear Jordans for fits. You got me, I look like. But you know what I'm saying. I would be lying that every once in a while they'll come out with a retro colorway where I'm just like, I would love to get a pair of those. I could rock those on a nice tomorrow. It's going to be 65 degrees and sunny in Florida. I'm gonna wear my oversized sweats, some swaggy new unreleased, retro J's, and a hoodie. It's just, that's my forte. But we'll leave it to Wales. Wales Bonnie for the win. With the exception of MJ, if we're going catalog, that's
a producer Gene said Kobe, Nike Kobe, not Adidas Kobe.
Yeah, I'm actually crazy. I didn't even think of that. Kobe would be next. His sneaker is still the best sneaker to this day. To the fact that they copied his whole silhouette and gave a female version of it to Sabrina, and everybody's hooping in Sabrina's. That's because they're a less attractive because they look good, but they don't look as good as Kobe. They're a less attractive version in silhouette of the Kobe. It looks just like the damn Kobe sneaker, bro. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
didn't create with that. They didn't eat. You know how isn't that a thing these days they do on the internet? Oh, she ate. They didn't eat.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I mentioned this earlier with our producer in our group chat. Kobe's all those Nike Kobe's pretty much besides the high ankle ones look kind of the same, right?
No, they don't. They don't.
I think they're all
They don't.
like LeBron recreates a shoe. I feel like every time for
Well,
20
that's his
something years.
problem. The Kobe sneakers all are low tops and mid tops. So if you want to say that, then yes. If you want to say the same aesthetic in terms of where they met off at your ankle, sure, because that's a known thing. If you have ankle problems, you shouldn't wear Kobe's because they're low top sneakers.
Yeah.
But the shoes themselves look completely different. If you like take a Kobe 4 versus a Kobe 5, they
Oh,
just look
for
different.
sure.
And
But
then you
yeah,
throw in that he even randomly threw in some high top ones like the what's the
the ones that were super high, like really high up
those
there.
ones are ugly. No one wears. They look like boxing sneakers. The ones that De'Aaron Fox always wears. De'Aaron Fox always wears these high top Kobe's. They are disgusting. I hate those shoes. I do like the ones that look like the waffle. Do you know the ones I'm talking about with the waffle print on the side?
That would, yeah.
Those ones are fire. We
Those are
came out
sick.
with those. That was like, yeah, that was I think I don't know what time period that was. I think that was like MVP years of Kobe. I don't know when that
Like
was, but
07 or something like that.
yeah, that was he was so I would go Kobe behind Jordan. And then after that, um honestly,
Giannis, Paul George, KD, a lot of them had some good runs. I mean,
yeah, I would probably put KD third. Because like here's the thing, LeBron's sneakers are not, they're just heavy.
yeah.
They're usually heavy. I will say this: the LeBron ones are just they knocked that out of the park. The LeBron James ones are fire. They look
Right.
good. They look clean. They look so good you could actually wear that off the court. I really do. I really love. And then he came out with those ones that look cool, but they were the heaviest shoe. The ones that like the wavy ones. They're like
Right.
yeah, you know exactly what I think those might
No,
have been
those
the
are sick. Yeah.
twos, the
They
two or
just
the
look
threes.
heavy. Just looking at them.
Where you can look at them and know they're heavy. I went
Yeah.
to the store. I wanted a pair so bad. They're the threes. They're the threes because I remember the twos. The twos were actually decent basketball shoes, but the threes came out, and I wanted a pair so bad. And I went to try them on, and I was like, "Good God, there's no way I can get freaky in these.
Yeah.
These are cinder blocks on each foot. They were so heavy. I think LeBron forgets we're not like him. LeBron and
But I
Nike
couldn't
forgets
imagine him like in a Kobe jumping up out of the, like jumping
he
in the ground.
would have he would have
He
jumped
needs to
too high.
land on some cushion, man. You've
He
seen
would have
LeBron's
jumped too
body.
high. He would have jumped through the glass or something. I don't know what would have happened. They needed to weigh him down, so they built strategically heavy ass shoes that no one else wanted to wear but LeBron fans.
Before we wrap on the pod, I have two questions for you. And we could do rapid fire. You could elaborate, do whatever you want to do. What team do you think Anthony Davis finishes the season with?
Oh man, the Bulls.
Homecoming.
I think that team has some young talent. Giddy, some of these young guys. I don't know what their picks look like over the next couple of years, but AD would be going home. He's definitely a Chi-Town kid. I think that'd be kind of dope to see him go home, maybe get himself right, get in the best shape possible, and finish strong there, being a good piece. A guy who probably gonna play 4 more years anyways, can finish out there in his hometown. I think that'd be dope. As every basketball hooper ever, I only wish that upon every player that they get the opportunity to play in their hometown. I never got that. I never got to play for the Magic. Who was running the Magic the past couple years prior to current?
You mean like the gym was Rob Hennigan?
Yes, Hennigan never really me, so I can never get that opportunity. Hennigan stole that from me. I've always wanted to play for the Magic, and I never got that. So I always am jealous when I see guys getting to play for their hometown team. I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine. But I think Chicago.
Okay. And Lauri Markkanen had another 40-point game last night.
This guy's just wasting
You're
away.
on the. You're not on the. You don't. You obviously think he's like. How do I say this? Obviously, he's not a good stats, bad team guy. A playoff team should go grab him. A lot of people say
No,
Detroit would be a perfect fit.
Laurie can play. Everyone knows Laurie's talented beyond measure. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think the fact that Danny Ainge is running the Jazz is the reason that Lauri Markkanen's still in the Jazz? Because people don't want to make deals with Danny Ainge because you know you're getting ripped off at some point, right? Like, people, if you're making a trade with Danny Ainge, you know you're not getting the better end of the deal. He doesn't do trades unless he wins
I
by a
mean, yeah,
lot.
look how long it took for them to get JC out of there. JC's been like an older player, didn't fit the Jazz timeline, getting numbers off the bench for a team that's trying to lose. It made zero sense for as long as he
Right.
was there, and they could never deal him for some reason. So I don't know if I see him realistically going anywhere just due to that simple fact. I love Danny Ainge; he's a family friend.
It's a compliment.
Um,
It's a compliment. He's that good at his job that people are
yeah,
like, if I'm
yeah,
making a deal
yeah,
with
yeah.
you, I'm probably getting ripped off.
But he could help a lot of teams. Lauri Markkanen could help a lot of teams. Lauri Markkanen is one of those pieces that could help a team go from being playoff team to contender. I believe he's that good. So yeah,
Yeah. And I know, like we've talked about it before. Obviously, Nike's backing Cade. You've been singing Cade's praises all season so far. The Pistons make, I think, obviously the most sense. A lot of people have been saying that, and you don't. Even though they have the number one seed right now, you don't see them as a real contender in the East. But that would put them over the top in your eyes.
that would be. But if you could put him next to Jalen Duren, a guy who kind of does all the hard nosed stuff, and then the other guy's kind of a finesse skill player around the perimeter, it'd be a perfect tandem with I think the best young guard in the NBA. And I'm excluding Shea. Shea's been in the league for over 5-6 years. Though I don't view him as like a young tier guard. This is a guy who's already won a championship MVPs. Luka's been a first team All NBA 5 times. These guys are seasoned vets at this point, or they're vets. Maybe not seasoned vets, but they're vets. Um, in terms of young tier guards, Cade is by far the best guard we have in the NBA. And I think pairing as much talent around him is the smartest decision you can do, and I'm sure something that they're already aware. And Trajan, I'm sure, is looking to make a move. That would be great. Laurie in Detroit would be fantastic.
Yeah, and when you get a star like that, obviously it's you're super fortunate, right? Some teams franchises go decades without getting their star. You want to be able to pair them the right way. You're on the clock. Everyone knows that. And like obviously Powell gets Franz and Jason Tatum had Jaylen Brown, and it's really important to pair Cade. And obviously Jalen Duren's a great player. I'm not saying he's not the guy, but it's really important to pair Cade with the right piece. SGA is so good. I think yes, Jalen Williams and Chet match him, but I think he was gonna, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
seeing Cade with another star would be. Trey Young never got that. Basically, he's never played with an All Star.
Right.
He never got that opportunity. So you definitely want to match with the right guy. It's fun seeing the Pistons be good. But like you said, Cleveland. I think you have New York, Milwaukee. These teams are probably ahead.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we can wrap.
All right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody tuning into this episode. We're continuing trying to find work and make this work. We got the links up. Do have something exciting. I'm in the process of building a studio. And it's not a major construction thing, so this isn't something that's going to take a long time. This is simply some wallpaper, some paint. We got some jerseys. We got some stuff that I'm going to hang up, some art. So me and you can actually have a space to properly do this when we're home. Obviously, a lot of these episodes are going to be split screen like this because I'm traveling, calling games. But when we're doing our podcast on Thursday, our Thursday episodes, it will soon be a different setup. I would say we're about a month out from that.
What'll be exciting
So
about that too is whenever we get people in Orlando, we can get them on the
we
pod
can
and
actually have them
everyone in
come
one
through.
room.
It'll be easy for us to book guests because we have a lot of guys who want to come on the show, but we don't really have the proper setup for them to do it. Having teams coming into Orlando every week to where like we could say, hey, come to this location. This is where our studio is. It's a really nice location, which doesn't hurt. You can grab some food. You can do this. You can do that. And then we're going to come upstairs and we're just going to do a 45-minute episode with you in and out. It will help us also get a guest here and there to where it's not just always, listen, we know y'all love listening to me and Pausha's lovely voice, but to have these players that we cover every day on our episode is what we also want, or on our show. So that is soon to come. More guests, proper studio setup. Obviously, we got the links up now. It's been a very fast, acquisition by NBC taking us in. So we've been really trying to transfer everything over properly and get all this stuff. There's a legal side to this as well, guys. So it took time, but things are here now, and we're getting the ball rolling now. So we appreciate everybody's patience and everybody tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on the internet, on the internet's comedy, on Instagram. I sound like I'm 80. Follow us on the net. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, the Off Guard Podcast. You can see our links there on where to listen and subscribe. And we'll be back next week. Everybody have a safe, or we'll be back later in the week. Everybody have a safe week. And matter of fact, Oh, we'll save it for next episode. I was gonna say
Listen, I was
Thanksgiving.
gonna squeeze in one thing too. If we get that studio, then whenever we're just out, maybe having wine on Park Avenue with somebody, they just pop in. Let's get them loose, and all of a sudden they're on the pod. We don't have to book them or anything.
Listen, I see the Wagners all the time at my favorite spots. Don't you dare go there anymore. I'm gonna grab you and scoop you and carry you up to the studio.
100%. And if we have it on, we get a side screen. People that watch this pod are gonna see me from the side here. You're gonna find something out about me.
We'll make sure we get you the proper angles. Everyone's designed to look good in this, okay?
There you go. I appreciate it.
It will be nice for us to have the when you look at some of these other podcasts, they have that. It's our time. And I've really been thinking about this lately. And people listen to us because they like our pod. They don't care about the aesthetic. But I do want to improve it. And I want to improve the visual of this too. I want people to watch our episodes, not just listen to them, and see that we have a show set up in a proper studio setup. So that should be done within the next month or so. But in the meantime, as always, you can listen and follow along. Follow us on Instagram or TikTok, the Off Guard Podcast. And you can subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple, so you know every time we drop, it'll come right to your phone and you can listen to our latest episode. So we'll be back later in the week. I'm going to get ready for this game. If you guys want to tune in, it'll be on NBC. And appreciate you guys.